advantages and disadvantages of leasing. Keep in mind that if you go back to leasing, the section, there's a lot of reading there if you want to have like a little bit more background as to why that is, why these items that I put down are true. So make sure you have something on your study sheet, okay? You go back, any formulas that were boxed in, make sure you have those on your study sheet, right? Because tomorrow at 9, right, 9 to 10, most of you, the vast majority, is coming in to write it, okay? So again, it's in the theater. You don't come into the main building. You come in from Shaughnessy, okay? You come in from that side road. I will have those doors open. I will have sanitizer there. So you come in, you sanitize your hands, make sure your mask is on, and then just go ahead and grab a seat, okay? We have 9 to 10. It's very important that we stop at 10 because I have to sanitize all of those tables for the next group that comes in after you, okay? I made the test out of 30 marks. So it should be, like, I looked it over, I did the math. Time-wise, you should have enough time if you're prepared, right? If you're completely coming in cold turkey, you're probably not going to have enough time, right? If you're going to learn the stuff there or try to figure it out there, you're going to have a hard time. Okay, so we're going to do the review today. I'm going to hand it over to you soon. And I just needed to cover insurance, and I'm going to ask you to write a little bit down, okay, on one of the blank pages that I'm going to refer you to. Let's go back to the test before I move on. Yeah. Those of you who are doing the test online, okay, it will appear under classwork, okay. You go to classwork and there'll be an entry Thursday, October 1st, open test here, right? You're gonna have to click on that. You open the test there, and it's a PDF, and you open it. Okay, then you can read through the questions and do it all. If you can, what is important is on that loose leaf where you do the work. Okay, you need to make sure you label everything very properly, carefully, and it's well organized, right? Because it's going to be a nightmare for me to find everything because you're literally doing everything on loose leaf, unless you want to print it. If you have a printer, print it and then just do it on that paper. Why not, right? If you have that option, go for it. I did a survey, and I would say the vast majority of you wants to come was planning on coming in. So I would much rather you come in and write it here and just do it here and be done with it. Okay. If you're doing it at home online, it's very important. Like, I'm going to have a deadline on that. So it should be like after 10 o'clock, right? You should take maximum 5 minutes, right? It should not take longer than 5 minutes to upload that. And I can see exactly what time it was uploaded, okay? So you can't just take your sweet time because you're at home. So I will schedule it. I'll have my laptop in the theater, but I will schedule it to appear at a certain time just before 9, so maybe 2-3 minutes before 9. And if you can be in the theater also, I can be there already at 8:30. I will open the doors, okay? Maybe show up at like 8:45, 8:40. Don't show up too early, okay? We'll let you in, and then you also get a bit of an earlier start. If everybody's ready to go, I will just hand it to you, and you can start like right away, so you get a little bit of extra time if you're there earlier. So 8:45 or so would be an ideal time to arrive. You sit down, I give you the test, you can start right away. As long as you, right, show your work, all of that. Things to bring, right? Study sheet, formula sheet, that yellow formula sheet, because I'm not going to give you one. Calculator, pencil, right? And an eraser, of course. And so you come in, you bring all your stuff. And if you have a backpack or whatever, we'll just put it somewhere on the side. Yeah, we'll put it somewhere on the side, and we're gonna spread it out a little bit. But if you don't need to bring a backpack, maybe just don't bring it, and we'll do that that way. And you get about an hour, okay, give or take. And but it needs to be submitted, especially those of you who are doing it online. It needs to be submitted shortly after 10. Okay, so that is tomorrow. So let's go, and if you have any questions, type it in. I'll try to answer that, okay, to the whole group. So we did fuel economy. We talked about additional expenses, and on page 42, we're gonna write some notes down for car insurance. Okay. We have about half an hour or so. Let's write this down, and then I'll send you. Okay. When we start the review. Okay, so let's go ahead and write some things down. So 4 factors that affect your car insurance premium. Okay, I spend a lot more time if you're in class on this. Like I show you like how to go to MPI and actually figure out exactly how much you would pay for your particular vehicle. And now because things are different, I will just glance over it. Okay, just skip over it a bit. So the first factor that affects the amount you're paying for your car insurance is the type of vehicle, right? And basically, they have a list, right? And there's a vehicle's risk of claim. Okay, they're not biased or anything. They just collect data. If a Honda Civic has a lot more accidents than other cars, they will charge you more. Pure and simple. Like they're not biased or anything. They just collect data, and that's what they base their premiums on. Okay, where you live, right? Is it urban or are you outside the city? Is it urban or is it rural, right? The chances of you getting into an accident in an urban area is higher than in a remote location, right? Because the traffic is higher, right? So that would be something that would affect your car insurance premium. How the vehicle, sorry, I'm going to say purpose, how the vehicle is used. Let's put it that way. I hope you write this down on page 42, okay? How the vehicle is used. Is it all purpose? Okay, there's all purpose, obviously that covers everything. Is it farming, pleasure, or leisure? Okay, are you using it? Is it just a fancy classic car that you're just driving every once in a while, like a joyriding kind of thing? Then the insurance will be less, of course. Or is it layup? Layup insurance is if you're planning on parking your car on your property, I might add. You can't park it on the street. But layup is you're storing it, right? If you're storing it, it's only if it's damaged due to vandalism. If you bump into your own car on your driveway, you're in trouble. Okay, it's not going to be covered. Someone else? Well, you're not allowed to have it. If you're someone else, they would probably have to pay the deductible, right? So then yes. But if you do it yourself, you don't want to pay the deductible because then your insurance rates go up, right? That's a good question. Okay, and then driving record. Right. So this would be merits or demerits, right? So, right, if you have, right, it's gonna be a lot more. The more negative you go, the more your insurance and your driver's license is gonna be on a yearly basis, right? So a lot of people, they pick the one person in the family that has the best driving record, and everybody insures it on that name, which is probably going to change soon. I heard AutoPack is going to change that. They're going to make you're going to have to insure it on the main user of the vehicle. Whoever uses the vehicle the most is the one that's going to have the insurance on that car. So you won't be able to piggyback on your dad or on your mom anymore. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're gonna rule it out, but they're definitely gonna do something. I heard that on the radio, and Autopack said it. Also, things that can affect, these are the main things. It's your deductible, right? The deductible is the amount you pay when making a claim. Some examples are, you could have a $200 deductible, a $300 deductible, you could have a $500 deductible, right? So if you increasing deductible decreases the insurance. Yes. And how is that? Well, the higher the amount you have to pay when you make a claim, the less likely it is that you will make that claim, right? It's less likely because you're like, oh, I cracked my windshield, but I'm going to have to pay 500 bucks. Well, I'll just get it done myself, right? I'll just go to the shop and replace it myself. Right. Exactly. There's also something called third party liability. Third party? Yeah, you have that. Yeah. And it varies from 200K, 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 7 million, and 10 million. I looked this up, and so that's the kind of like the scale you can go up by. The bare minimum is, of course, 200,000. I would always suggest go 1 or 2 million for sure. Why? What is third party liability? It is like, let's say you crash into someone, and that causes that car to swerve and go into a store and break a structure. That can be super expensive. Plus, all the chiropractor bills, like people that get injured, physio, all of that that's involved in that accident is all going to be covered due to the third party liability. If you have loss of coverage, loss of use coverage, new vehicle protection. Mm-hmm. So there's a new vehicle protection. It's like if you buy a brand new vehicle and you crash it and write it off, you get the same amount. Like you will get the amount that it costs to get that same brand new vehicle again. So I think you only get it for like a year or two. And then excess value coverage, if you buy a car that's worth 70 grand, Autopack only covers up to 50 standard. You're gonna have to pay extra. That's why it costs more. A new car insurance costs more in general because you have to pay for anything extra 50,000. Okay, which isn't that hard these days with a new car, right? All right. So Randy, I'm going to ask you to run for us, and I'll give you a review. This is essential. So there's two boxes. My last name is D.
Okay.
It's on the left box. When you come into the office, it's right at the beginning. There's two boxes.
Yeah.
I'm in the first one because it's A to L or something. Okay, thank you. Mr. Dirksen, just tell them. Okay.